Okay, guys, so I just got done doing an entire reading of 7.29 gameplay patch. I'm just going to do a quick, maybe 5 to 10 minute highlight of what I believe to be the most significant changes.
Banana slam jam.
I'm very grateful for the map updates. There's just a lot of little tweaks they did, and you'll just have to get used to it yourself. I think a lot of them, they just make it so there's new juke paths, there's new ways to think about sieging towers, and like you see here, there's a bunch of different tree paths. I really like that. Just a change. We all needed it. The runes were really nice. They made it so there's no real RNG from the 2-minute and 4-minute runes. The outpost being done every minute is a nice change. Bounty runes are every 3 minutes instead of 5. You now get assist gold based on how far behind you are. They buffed TP scrolls in terms of getting one on death, but it's bad in terms of rotating around the map. I actually think that's a very significant change to like how often people will want to TP casually from one lane to another, especially early game, like TPing mid to save your mid or anything like that. I think the cast range, movement speed, talents, abilities note here is the most significant change of the patch. They made it so Abyssal Blade does not blink you. They made it so every hero with a cast range talent, it either got nerfed or removed. And they made it so that every hero that had an ability that went a far distance either goes slower or goes less distance. So it makes a huge difference for any positional-based carry, especially I think like the Lunas, the Drows, the Snipers, these heroes, Huskars, that were previously just like not viable because they got Blink Abyssal on or whatever. Or like kited and people were casting spells from a bajillion range. It was just impossible to play them, it felt like. And then on top of that, they made it so that the movement speed cap is pretty much back. Like every hero that had movement speed cap, like they could bypass it, like Weaver, Lycan, all that kind of stuff. Windrunner with Windrun. Other than like Bloodseeker, it's pretty much all gone. So they just toned down how much cast range people were getting, as well as how fast people were getting. So I think this really does buff the heroes that stood still and did damage and relied on positioning. And Huskar, Necrophos, that kind of stuff. The fact that you can teleport so far away from buildings makes it more difficult to siege by yourself early. Like if you're just trying to do a little bit of split pushing action with like a, any range generic right clicker. I like how many hero bands they added to matchmaking. It's now 16, if I believe correctly. You now cannot see in the Roche Pit with couriers, which I think is huge. Wards can now be denied by anybody. And that's nice for your teammates griefing you. Necronomicon, thank God it's gone. Tangos being shared, you can't give them to your mid anymore. So in case you don't want to read the patch notes, you can't give them to your mid anymore, guys. TLDR, please do not hand your. They made it so you can't do it in the strategy phase on accident, but don't do that anymore. Satanic seems like one of the big breadwinners of the patch in terms of items. It now is much lower cooldown, not dispellable, and it's basically a Manta, right? In terms of this basic dispel. So heroes like Lifestealer, Huskar, CK are ones that immediately come to mind. Maybe something like a Sven. Heroes that just don't want to buy Manta or don't necessarily want to buy Manta, but they can really benefit from a basic dispel and a little bit of sustain and some damage. I think Satanic is a huge breadwinner. There's going to be a lot of heroes that make use of it. Armlet also got buffed, so any hero that goes Armlet Satanic I think is going to be great this patch. Potentially Sven, Huskar, CK, already mentioned those. But yeah, I think it's really good. Abyssal Blade, a huge nerf, so any hero that relied on that is going to be much worse in my opinion. Manta style getting buffed on ranged heroes to go from 45 to 30. Huge buff. Morphling, Sniper, Luna, Drow, SF potentially being a right clicker. Combine that with the Dragonlance buff. BKB is probably going to get purchased earlier since you don't get as punished and you don't benefit as much from delaying for the 10 seconds. All these are pretty minute changes. Diffusal Blade got nerfed on PL, but otherwise it's a huge breadwinner of the patch. I think heroes like Slark, Ricky, any other non-illusion based potential diffusal buyers will love to buy this item, and it's just strictly way better. So it's 12 extra damage. It's 4 agility and 8 extra damage from the mana burn. So as long as the target has mana, you're getting 12 extra damage for free on a 3,000 gold item. Pretty significant. Solar Crest got reworked. Not that big of a deal. It does the same thing. It's just cheaper. I actually like what they did there. Mage Slayer is still unpurchasable as far as I'm concerned. Shadow Blade has gotten significantly buffed because of the fact that Swift Blink was just a better item last patch, and that got nerfed. So the fact that this got buffed and that got nerfed, I think it's just a way better item. Monkey King Bar and Mjolnir are now the only ways to get True Strike. So they have like a purpose. I think heroes with evasion, butterfly, they got buffed. Heroes that just want to buy stat items, they got buffed. Because all the heroes that relied on rapier are going to be worse. I mean, I know I said PA is better because of evasion, but she's also worse because of no rapier. Wraith King buying rapier, Medusa buying rapier. Any hero that buys rapier is just really much worse. Butterfly is now a much better late game item because MKB isn't like a good item. You don't feel good about buying it. It's very expensive. You now only buy it to get the True Strike. With the nerf to Abyssal, I think we're going to see a lot of Sheepstick buyers, a lot of Scythe of Vises. It got buffed. Abyssal got drastically nerfed. The items do similar things. So I think like the Tinkers, the ODs, potential heroes like this will benefit a lot. Maybe even start seeing carries go late game Scythe on heroes that don't necessarily need the bash. Going to keep scrolling down. No major changes here, just slight buffs and nerfs to items. They made everyone slower in general. Every item that was a bit underwhelming got buffed, like Mindbreaker. Heroes that were, items that were overwhelmingly good, Illusionist Cape and Spell Prism got nerfed. No major changes in here, in my opinion. So when it comes to heroes, I guess I'm just going to mainly look at the hero list and talk about, from what I remember, to be the 5 like most significantly buffed heroes, in my opinion, and the 5 most significantly nerfed heroes. So for buffs, I think Huskar is really up there. I think the hero is going to go from like dud to stud over the course of one patch. I think heroes like Anti-Mage and Bloodseeker, as well as, what's the other one? Centaur. Anti-Mage, Bloodseeker, Centaur, I think will go up in value just because of the gap close being removed and movement speed being locked for everyone else. What I'm saying is that these heroes offer things that other heroes no longer offer. So I'm going to group them all in like one assumption that like heroes that are niche are going to be much better than they were last patch. So AA also, they buffed his Ags and they buffed Satanic. So I think AA. So AA, Anti-Mage, Bloodseeker, Centaur. They all have this like gap close, haste movement speed, or heal reduction unique to them that I think is going to be really good. Dazzle is another one. His AoE Hex on Shard makes his illusion counters no longer a counter, and they gave him some insane attack speed talent at 15. I think Core Dazzle, either mid or off lane, will be absolutely insane this patch. I think Leshrac is another huge breadwinner because of the puffs they gave to him. They made his ultimate larger radius, they made his Lightning Storm a better cast time, and they made him have his Lightning Storm damage at 15. We'll talk about, just group them all up together, is all of the ranged Manta carries. I think will be significantly better. Any hero that likes to have Dragonlance Manta in their inventory will be significantly better. The Drows, the Lunas, the Morphlings, potentially SF, who they gave a better base attack time to as well. Maybe even like Arc Warden. I'm not sure how much he loves those items as much as these other heroes. Even like a Vengeful Spirit or Venno are heroes that I want to try out as ranged right clickers that significantly benefit from the cooldown of Manta going from 45 seconds to 30 on ranged heroes. Oh, I think we'll talk about a few Ag Shards as well as just heroes that got significantly buffed in the last group. I think Bounty Hunter's Ag Shard is potentially insane. It gives him 40% damage reduction when he's in his Ghost Walk, so he can just like face check cliffs. Pudge with the Ag Scepter getting significantly buffed. I really want to try him carry. I guess my last group is going to be things I want to try carry, actually. That's what we're going to say. So Bounty Hunter Shard makes him insanely strong late game, it seems like to me. Pudge Ag Scepter with Hood into Eternal Shroud could be insane to me. Absolutely insane. Another Ag Shard or Ags that I think is significantly worth trying is the Ursa one. That Enrage. They also buffed... He gets Enrage on Earthshock now, and it lowers the cooldown. PL Ag Shard got buffed again, which I think is absolutely bonkers. I can't believe they did that. So Ag Shard PL I think is going to be pretty insane. I want to try Dazzle Core. I already talked about him. His Ag Shard seems like it deals with a lot of his counters. Oh, the Ag Shard on Skywrath Mage gives him int and armor every time he casts a spell for 35 seconds. So that is an insane ability. That sounds like it'd be really good on either mid or 4 position Skywrath Mage. Oh, Core Undying. Decay now does double damage to creeps, so he might actually have a way to do wave clear, which gives him something he never had. The Ag Shard on Nightstalker also seems really nuts. You can use it during the day now, and it gives you 35% health and mana, and it's a 20-second cooldown. So you're basically a walking fountain for yourself. And yeah, I think it could be really good. I also want to try Carry Venomancer. I want to try Carry Venge. So the ones I really want to try are Venomancer, Venge, Pudge,
THX for the analysis.
Gyro, who got basically flat cannon what it used to be on an 18-second cooldown. And Manta buff for him is probably pretty nice. Bounty Hunter, like I said. I want to try Morphling as well. Even though they put mana on his Morph, they gave all of his other abilities lower mana cost, and they made it so he has more int. CK. I mentioned him briefly with Armlet plus Satanic. I believe CK will be insanely strong. They buffed his Ag Shard, and they gave him a Cleave Talon at level 15. So I think CK will be absolutely bonkers. So I know I listed about 20 heroes there, but those are the heroes I really want to try. All the heroes that rely on positioning, I think it is so important. I think we mentioned it earlier, but I'll just name all the ones I can think of. Necrophos, Zeus, Tinker, Skywrath Mage, Sniper, Drow, Luna, Lena, OD. I'm just naming all the ones I can possibly think of. Hoodwinked, who I think she got put into captain's mode. SF. These heroes that rely on like positional based damage output that used to just hate playing against like Abyssal Blades and like these ridiculously long cast range supports that even though you're an 800 range hero like Sniper, that some of the supports just have 1,000 cast range on their spells anyways. That kind of stuff, I think those heroes are going to be significantly better this patch. So all of them. I think like the whole concept of like these ranged output damage dealers is going to be the meta. I believe we're going to see a lot of carries that are ranged. I think we're going to see a fall off of these like Trolls and Ursas, these heroes that do rely heavily on the mobility that Abyssal Blade provided. Lifestealer got his feast damage, so he scales a lot better. I'm kind of just rambling. Maybe it can be organized a bit, but I can't. There's just so much to think about, and I'm not gonna like write up exactly what I want to say here. Heroes that we saw last patch that I think we'll see a lot less of. I'll say Beastmaster to start. They buffed his axes and they removed Necrobook. I think Beastmaster could be played as like a Vlad Solarcrest Ags kind of guy. They buffed his axes to have much less mana cost. So I'm saying we're either going to see him played like that or we're not going to see him at all. That's a big one for me. I think we're going to see a lot less Weaver. I think we're going to see a lot less Weaver. They put the movement speed cap on Sakuchi. You're no longer running around at 700 move speed. I think that's a huge component of the hero's kit, and he's kind of just gone from last patch. I think Wraith King, I'm going to boldly say this hero sucks. They nerfed Swift Blink. They nerfed Divine Rapier, and they nerfed Abyssal Blade. All items that really secured his late game. So I think he just kind of falls off way harder than he used to. And he doesn't benefit from the strength item Satanic, which got buffed, which I think is a big thing. Death Prophet got significantly nerfed early on, which I think will make her a lot less viable. Void Spirit also got his laning stage significantly nerfed, so I'm going to call him bad, or at least way less good than he was last patch. Who else got significantly nerfed? Oh, Core Io. Io in general seems pretty dead to me. Puck got significantly nerfed in the laning stage again. Maybe Coil's just too good of a spell, but I'm going to have to imagine that she got nerfed too much. I'm really looking forward to trying all these new heroes. I think the new patch is exactly what I wanted. I think they removed a lot of parts of Dota that nobody liked, and myself included. They even fixed the stuff like cast range that I didn't even consider to be a problem, but when I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Heroes running around at 900 move speed, that's not particularly enjoyable. It may be fun to be that one guy, but it's not exactly fun to be anyone else in the game. Dawnbreaker, I definitely should mention her, obviously, the new hero. Clickbait, start of the video. She's incredible. You should try her out. She has a 38% win rate. Yeah. No, I as of now, she seems pretty underwhelming. But I am going to be doing more patch analysis stuff as more information comes about. I'll be casting DPC for EU. I am in Sweden now, so I will be, doing as much research during that as I can. I'll be playing pubs in EU during this time. So make sure you keep checking out any updates that I'll give. I'm going to do my best to give an update like every week or so for the next few weeks, just to make sure you guys keep up with any new discoveries I've come to.
A few moments later.
They buffed her? Oh. Timeout. Timeout. Okay. So, reanalysis of Dawnbreaker. It looks like she was considered too underwhelming on release. That's what a lot of people are saying. She had a below 40% win rate. So they actually released just a day later, less than a day later, a update to her. Let's quickly show you guys that. They gave Dawnbreaker more strength gain, more base armor. That's pretty significant on a strength hero. Starbreaker self-stun now is less. The burn damage on her W, which was 20, which was like, is now much higher at max level. It's 2.5 seconds, so I guess it goes from 50 damage to 125, which is a lot. It's a lot more damage. Luminosity heal for your heroes is just 50% more at max level. People are kind of just saying the numbers sucked, so I think these changes make sense. The heal pulse from your ultimate is now higher. The radius on your ultimate is higher. And significantly higher, 16 to 25, guys. It's like a 50% area increase on this stuff, so that's pretty big. And then the stun duration on your ultimate is significantly longer at level 1 in comparison. It's about a half second at all levels, but it goes from 1.1 to 1.5, so that's significantly longer. So we'll definitely have to be checking out what's moving forward with her. I think the hero's kit is cool. She's like a pseudo-carry Omni Knight. Seems like she's more of a mid or a off lane. Almost certainly has to be a core. She needs mana. All of her, like her skills, her first skill scales with damage. Her third skill scales with damage. Seems like she kind of needs items and damage. So I'm definitely going to try her out at some point. I'm probably going to try her out if I get stuck playing offlane. That seems like her ideal role from my perspective. But maybe her numbers are now good enough to be a carry. But the fact that one of her abilities is completely dedicated to healing her allies kind of tells me she's not a carry. But I guess Jug has healing word. I don't know. Yeah, so looking forward to trying her out. I'll definitely try her out at some point. I'm glad they already took the time to buff her. She was certainly underwhelming. So thanks for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, everything that I'm supposed to tell you to do on YouTube. So see ya.